This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
G'day everybody, thanks for joining me. In this chat, I'm honoured to bring you Biff Byford from Saxon. He's the guest on this episode. The catalyst for our conversation is the launch of the new album for 2018, titled Thunderbolt. So we delve into topics relating to the album, such as the reception that the album and the band even recently has been getting, the tour with Judas Priest across the Americas, that was a big one, and the enduring popularity of the group, among other interesting topics. So here he is, Biff Byford from Saxon.
Biff, I'll kick things off and I want to welcome you to the show. You do have a new album soon to be released called Thunderbolt, and we'll talk a bit more about that. But first, what's the good oil, mate? What's been happening in your world lately?
Well, we just finished a European UK tour. We did 8 shows to support the album, and just getting ready to shoot off to America to go out with Judas Priest for 10 weeks, I think. We finish in Mexico, down in Central America. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. Everything's going good. The album's getting fantastic reviews. So yeah, everything's a go.
Everything's go, yeah. I mean, I'll ask a few questions about the Judas Priest tour in a sec, but, you are 22 albums into your career, so where do you think Thunderbolt sits compared to the other albums in your canon of work? Now, the reason I ask that question, I'd like to know if it's similar to any through theme or even narrative.
Well, I don't think I've read a bad review yet on Thunderbolt. So obviously this album looks to be one of those special albums that people really like. It's selling really well. We've had ridiculous chart positions in Europe. Number 5 in Germany. It's the best chart position ever.
Yeah.
Top 30 in UK. Best position since 1984. So I think things are. I think the last 3 or 4 albums have been great, and I think we had to pull one out the bag for this one because Battering Ram was great.
Good album, yeah.
We just focused a little bit more on this album because I wasn't producing it with Andy. I let Andy do it himself. It just gave me a bit more time to work on melodies and arrangements and different things.
Are people finally getting Saxon, do you think? I mean, you've been around doing this now for, longer than almost as long as Iron Maiden or longer.
Well, yeah, about the same. Maybe a year longer than Maiden. I think they're 1980, I think.
Yep.
But, people seem to be getting it, yeah.
What do you
I don't know why. I can't only put it down to the songwriting has remained. We still have passion and fire. We're not. I don't like it when older bands relax and start to take things easy. I think you should be on the edge, and I'm pushing the guitar boys all the time to write full-on guitar riffs that are on the edge of ability, and I suggested that we shouldn't do as many guitar solos on this album, and maybe should do some twin lead stuff like the 80s. And
nice, yeah.
They went for that. So, when you actually do play a solo, then it means more. You know what I mean? So, totally. Just generally things like that, really, and just little details that make the big picture better, really.
Here's a question for you. Now, I've been looking forward to this chat because I've always wanted to ask you this question because you have enjoyed commercially fertile relationship with Germany ever since the album Denim and Leather charted in 1981. And that relationship has gone right through thrash, grunge, electronica, and God knows how many other fads and trends. So, mate, in your view, why do you think Saxon and indeed so many great metal bands have been received so well for so long in Germany?
I don't really know. I think I don't really know. You'd have to go into the psyche of just rock music in general in Germany. I think in the 60s and 70s, I think there was a lot of Americans based in Germany, and I think a lot of Germans of that generation listened to a lot of American rock music. Do you know what I mean? Because all the radio stations played it. So I think they had their own style of rock music in Germany, and when we came along, before that actually, Judas Priest were pretty big in Germany before we had an album out, and so were Motorhead. So they've always had a great appreciation for for classic metal, classic rock, really. The hard edge with the melodic vocal has always been popular in Germany. Scorpions, definitely. So I think they have. There's a lot of rock fans in Germany as well. It's a big country.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think because maybe the radio stations didn't quite stop playing rock music there. They carried on playing it, maybe, and then that's a big thing as well. Airplay.
Mm-hmm.
The magazines probably kept supporting the bands. Didn't move on to the newer bands quite so quickly. So yeah, there's probably 1,000 reasons for it, but they have remained loyal.
Noticeably
over the years,
loyal.
The German fans, definitely.
Well, I know what it's like.
Not
here
just
in
to
Australia.
Saxon, to all the bands, really.
Yeah, you're at the centre of it, but yeah, to your point, Manowar, Maiden in particular, Priest, just seem to have gone from strength to strength over there. And now here's a question. Now I've asked some of your, leaders of bands that have been around for almost as long as you guys. So I've asked Schmier from Destruction, Blitz from Overkill, Miller from Creator, and Lips from Anvil this question. How did you survive playing heavy metal after Nirvana broke the mainstream in 1991, which effectively broke heavy metal's back, really, didn't it? What was it like trying to survive that 8 or 9 year period up until the early 2000s when metal was effectively a dirty word?
Well, I think the fans, some bands didn't do. They stopped playing.
Yeah, a lot went out. Look at Destruction.
And then came back later.
Yeah.
But no, we were playing. Again, the fans really, the loyal fans kept us going through that period, and obviously the record company had faith in us and kept releasing albums. So we never really stopped doing what we did. I think the Nirvana, Pearl Jam, I think the grunge thing, in some respects, was a good thing. Kicked everybody up the arse and said, it's not about makeup and hair. It's about the guitar riffs and the attitude and and the what we're singing about. So I don't think it was a bad thing, really, for that period. I think every 10 years a new sort of style comes along. That was a new wave of sort of music that swept America and went around the world. Yeah. So I don't think you can really complain when that happens, because that's what happens. Music regenerates and new fans come along and new music, new generation of fans. But I think our fans kept us going through that period, and the record company as well. And that's where countries like Germany, England, we could play 4 or 5 shows in England, in the north, and 1 show in London. So it kept us going, and we toured. We toured around the world. We did Japan and places. So South America was still strong. So I think we did what every other band did. Maiden did the same, and so did Motorhead, and so did Priest. We just played to our fans, and we sort of learnt to adapt.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah, Maiden certainly took a left turn through that period, didn't they? Well, that's my opinion, of course, but fans...
Everybody did, the singer left, and, and everybody did. It was one of them periods, but, you have to look forwards and not backwards, and, I thought it was all right. We survived it. We were playing festivals, and we just took a pay cut, hunkered down, and working class attitude, really.
Yeah, I think that's probably what got you
Something
through big
yeah.
time as well. That northern working class attitude that you've got to, that you've just got to get out there for the fans. The fans want the music, so just keep
Well,
playing.
it's a never surrender attitude, that's where it comes from. And, there's, you have to look forward, not backwards, and, you have to find your way through, if you can. And, if you're surrounded by people that are similarly minded, it's good, It's like a family, isn't it?
Yeah, bands are like that. Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, it was
firsthand.
good. It was good for us. It taught us a really good lesson. Don't get complacent. Don't relax. Keep the fire. Keep it on the edge. And it taught Saxon a good lesson. And whether it taught all the bands a good lesson, I have no idea. But some of them fell along the wayside, and then decided to come back again when things got better. But I think bands like us, Maiden, Priest, Motorhead, all went through that period and survived, and came out the other side a better band, actually.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people would agree. It's certainly a very consistent band, but I think to survive that and come out the other end and produce arguably stronger material, if you don't mind me saying it, since probably the year 2001 or thereabouts. That's quite something else, though, isn't it? What do you put that down to? You're right, you go.
Well, I think determination, and obviously a lot of it comes from me, I suppose, pushing the band and not letting people relax on their laurels, and the fact that we had big hits in the 80s. We should be striving for big hits now. And, we're never going to have that success again that we had in the 80s, because it's not the 80s. But it doesn't mean to say you can't try and write great albums, and that's what we try and do. I think on this album in particular, we've created something that's a bit special. And like I say, I've not really seen one bad review of Thunderbolt. So, and we have had quite a lot of success already. And people know the song. When we've been playing live, people know the songs already.
Is that right? Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Which is strange as well. So obviously a lot of people bought it in the first couple of weeks, of it coming out.
So I got into, I'll share this with you, I got into you guys through, and the reason I mentioned the early 2000s, is because Killing Ground came out then, and you also re-recorded some tracks from early on in your career. And that's how I ended up getting into you guys through that. Because remember Metal Maniacs magazine, the American publication that used to be a print magazine, but I think it lasted until 2005 or so. They did a pretty good review of that, and I remember getting into it through that way. But did you think?
All right, cool.
Did you made a decision, which I applaud, by the way, going back and re-recording things and giving them to a new audience, because I was only about 19 or 20 back then. So I was able to gain an appreciation for your early material because you re-recorded some of it and was able to go back and listen to some of the stuff that you recorded way back in the late 70s and early 80s. But how important was that album to you guys?
You're talking about the album we gave away, aren't you?
I think so.
Thunder
that's
part
right.
of it.
Yeah, that's right.
About 7 tracks. Yeah, I think it's very important because, like you say, we had a huge, still had a huge following from the older fans. But I think those albums, like Killing Ground, and some of those albums, pull a younger audience. So it was good to re-record them with a little bit different quality. We didn't really change that much. We just used a few different modern sounds on them, but basically they're the same. They're just re-recorded, and I think a lot of people got into the older stuff through that, and then went back and listened to the original. And because we didn't try to recreate the original sounds, that they're two different products, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally.
So it worked really good. I mean, and people still bring those albums and CDs for us to sign a lot. So a lot of younger fans will bring that CD, Heavy Metal Thunder, re-recorded stuff to us, and say, we got into the band from this. So, it was a good move, actually. I don't think we thought that at the time, but, we just wanted to record a few old tracks, make them sound a little bit more better on the hi-fi situation.
Yeah,
but it worked in our favour. It got our music a little bit back on the radio a bit, and definitely into younger fans' hands, and the older fans liked it as well because it was one CD that had all the big hits on it, so it's perfect for the car.
Yeah, Motorcycle Man and everything was on there.
Yeah.
Hey, let's. You mentioned earlier about your tour with Priest, okay, and talking about a band that's had to work around things, as you alluded to when I asked the question about how you got through the 90s. You're mates with Glenn and Rob, but how do you think Andy Sneap will go handling Glenn's parts on the guitar on the tour? Because he's actually, I don't know.
I've been talking to Andy about it. We've been working with Andy for like 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah,
Andy's really excited because, like I said, to your guy before you, Andy is a modern producer, but his heart is really in the 80s, and he loves bands like Saxon, Priest, like Whitesnake stuff. So it's perfect for him really because he loves that type of music. So I think he'll do a good job actually. So yeah, it should be good. I mean, he's rehearsing at the moment with them. So fingers crossed that he can pull it off. Hopefully Glenn will be there.
I wonder if he'll do any guest appearances for you guys prior to going on stage with Priest, because I imagine that could definitely happen.
I don't think so. I think he's going to have his work cut out, remembering all the songs and stuff. But hopefully Glenn will play a couple of songs on the encore here and there. That'd be good.
Yeah, no, agreed. So for you, mate, what gives you the greatest sense of accomplishment, or what do you feel the most? What gives you the greatest sense of pride when you look back over your career?
Well, it's always, the thing is with us, it's always down to the new album. We're really sort of proud of the new album and what we've achieved there. And I think when you're writing songs and releasing albums, it's always a great buzz, around an album release. And so I think we're all focused on this album and this tour. I mean, the past. Obviously you've got the 80s, which were really strong. 80, 81 was a fantastic year for British metal music from all the bands, really. Everybody wrote great. Everybody who's still, around today all wrote great stuff in that period, and it's what helps us survive today. The back catalogue and the great. Feeling that everybody had around the world for that new wave British heavy metal thing that happened then. So yeah, I think looking back on that and the new albums, everything since possibly everything since Metalhead has been a move forward for Saxon, definitely.
Okay, I watched your performance with Metallica at their 30th anniversary show, and what I couldn't help but notice was that there are a lot of comments on the social media platform, YouTube, saying that yours was the strongest appearance, where you sang Motorcycle Man. And I've got to tell you, these are my own comments. I'm a musician, and I think Lars is a wonderful businessman, but not such a great drummer. But Lars's drumming actually sounded very tight against your vocal and a song that you created. His groove worked very well. So what was the show like from your vantage point there?
The 30th anniversary one in San Francisco.
Yeah, 2011.
Fillmore one.
Yes.
Yeah. It was great actually. I mean, it was a bit surreal because we had a day off. We were on tour, and we had a day off, traveling day from
nice
Denmark or somewhere into Poland. It was and the last phone me up and said, "Oh, we want you to come and sing with us on our 30th anniversary." I was like, "Well, we're touring." I was like, "Oh, we got a day off. I'll try and do it." So they bought me a ticket, and I flew in. Went straight to their rehearsal room in somewhere over the bridge in San Francisco. And we rehearsed it a couple of times. I'd already played it with them once in Paris. So, and then we did the show, and it was great, actually. It was good, and actually they played it great. They did play it really well. It's not an easy song to play, Motorcycle Man. It sounds easy, but
no, the rhythm's very tight. It's almost AC/DC style, Malcolm
yeah,
Young
it's very
style.
tight. I thought he played it great, and they were very happy. And then I got on the plane and flew back to Poland. I got back to the show 4 hours before doors opened, so it was a bit of a tight squeeze, but it was good fun. It was crazy, a bit like that film Get Him to the Geek.
Yes.
It was Get Me to the Geek on time. But it was a crazy thing to do, and I'm sure Metallica appreciated it. But it was good fun. Well,
I thought it was a wonderful recognition.
The thing is with Metallica, they'd never covered a Saxon song.
I've noticed that. Yeah.
Diamond Head and Blitzkrieg. So, they just love that, they're huge Saxon fans of Metallica, and obviously that song and Princess of the Night, I think, are probably their favourite two Saxon songs. So we could have done either one, really, and, I think Motorcycle Man is more thrashy, I think.
More suitable for them.
It's their style that they created. It was good fun. But looking back on it, it was a crazy thing to do.
Well, what I was saying a moment ago was I think it's wonderful recognition of your contribution to heavy metal by, without doubt, I think it's either them or Maiden or Judas Priest, one of the three most popular heavy metal bands of all time, in terms of the fans' perspective. So I thought it was a wonderful tip of the hat to you guys, and hopefully it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they didn't have to have me there. I just think, we were part of their inspiration and where they came from, and it's really nice for them to acknowledge that we helped them in their creation, really, of their style of music, thrash music. So it was great. It was great of them to, I wouldn't have done that for anybody, believe me.
I can imagine. Yeah, especially not getting to the Greek style.
They asked me to go, and and I do appreciate, and I do love Metallica, and they're a bunch of nice guys, and it was nice of them to ask me, and if I hadn't have gone, I would have regretted it, definitely.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah. Okay, I've got my last question for you. Something I've always been fascinated with is that your voice seems to get better with age, and I mean that. So, what special exercises do you do, or do you even have to do anything to keep your voice in the shape that it's currently in?
No, I don't do anything with my voice. I sort of, I just sing, basically. I don't really do anything with my voice.
Look, I've worked with guys in covers bands who can't seem to keep it together for 3 sets, but you've been doing it for 4 or 5 decades. And listen to the wonderful shape of your voice, so you've got a gift.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Just a second. There's something falling down here. It's a great thing to, it's a great thing to be able to have so much, what can I say, really? So much
it's talent. That's what
appreciation from fans, really, that we've been around for so long and doing well,
Okay, that's it from me, mate. Thank you so much for answering my questions. Congratulations on a stellar career to date. And actually, this will be my final question. When are you coming to Australia? There you go.
Well, we're talking to the management and agents at the moment. Obviously, the album's getting some great reviews down in Australia. People seem to love it. So, the stronger the album is, the more chance there are we can tour different countries. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're looking at maybe coming early next year, like January, February, or March or something. I mean, okay. there's a sort of download into there.
Yeah, downloads this month, actually. Yeah.
So, maybe we could get on that next year. That would be good.
Fingers crossed.
Do a few shows around it. That would be great.
That would be wonderful. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge to whoever the promoter is who owns it. Who, no doubt you know him. I know he's a Brit, so hopefully he's listening to the podcast. He gets a bit of a hint to put you guys on.
Andy Copping.
That's it.
We know Andy. Yeah.
Oh,
Get us a gig, Andy. All right, then, cool.
All right, thanks very much, mate. You're a legend.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. I enjoyed participating in it. So if you like that one, there are many more just like it over at scarsandguitars.com. And if you like listening, maybe you like reading, because I've written a book about the podcast. Click on the link in the banner on the website. You'll be taken to a marketplace of your choice and you can download a sample. And if you do complete the purchase, I want to thank you personally, so please do hit me up. I've got some more information to share with you about the book in the moment, but before we get to that, I need to bid you a fond farewell. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast series. Until next time, it is a very goodbye for now.
This is Eric Rattan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew Mackay-Smith.
I've been the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast since 2017. The first musician I interviewed for the show was David Vincent from Morbid Angel, and things have just snowballed from there. In all, I've posted almost 650 podcast episodes featuring conversations with many of the leading lights of rock, heavy metal, and beyond. It just got to a point where I thought, I need to write a book about all this, so that's exactly what I did. In Scars and Guitars Volume 1, you'll read a heap of deep reveals and commentary, such as Des Fafara talking about Coal Chamber and why the band will never return.
You know, if you're a band just starting out, you need to hear me. Do not start a band with partners. Ever.
Yeah, wise words there. Sage advice, mate, for anybody.
Don't ever, because I can't go do Coal Chamber right now unless I get others involved.
Phil Anselmo talks about the episode in his career which gives him the greatest sense of accomplishment.
I think the staying power of the fans and the staying power of the songs, you know, whether it's Pantera, Down, or Superjoint, the fans remember the songs.
Alex Skolnick from Testament confirms that, yes, playing the guitar in Ozzy's band is anything but an ordinary gig. Will Silent Oz from Dimmu Borgir write a book? Pa from Sabaton gives advice to people who want to start a band.
Look at the team around you, look at the bandmates. If the guys want to be on the stage, then it's all cool. If the guys want to be backstage, then it's not going to be cool.
Current and former members of Cradle of Filth discuss the band's seminal 90s material. Read about the reaction to George Lynch and Mark from Suicide Silence's comments when they throw shade at then President Donald Trump.
We have this idiotic monster, you know, this egotistical, self-aggrandizing, complete piece of shit in there. I just can't understand how we've gotten to this place.
And yeah, we kicked a hornet's nest with Sepultura. Percussive overlord Gene Hoglan talks about recording with Chuck Schuldiner.
Chuck was always, he was very open-minded, and he was into having his musicians that were playing with him just reach out for the best stuff that they had.
Phil Campbell from Motorhead discusses what it takes to get sober. John Five answers his critics who dismiss his tenure with Marilyn Manson.
You know, my name is John Five, and Manson gave me that name, and I had some of the best years of my life in that band and learned a lot. And
we get the lowdown on Treyarch Zagtoth from those who would know, including his mother. All across Scars and Guitars Volume 1, there are moments of tension, relief, tragedy, exhilaration, and throughout it all, you'll obtain insight that I believe no one else has managed to obtain from many of your favourite artists. So treat yourself. Scars and Guitars Volume 1 is currently available as an ebook with a print edition on the horizon. Follow the links attached and download a sample. I'm sure you'll be compelled to read the whole book.